Okay, this video is going to be about domain and range of bounded graphs here. And so what I mean by bounded is that there's a stopping point in the x direction, a starting and stopping point, and there's a starting and stopping point in the y direction. So let's find those. So what we're looking for is the farthest leftmost point of this graph. And if we kind of just take our pencil, it's this point right here. Right? This is the farthest most point. And so let's label that point. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3. So -3 and 1. It's -3, 1. Okay, let's find the farthest right point. And that would be this point right here, which is at 2, 2. So this is at 2 and 2. And so in the last video, we talked about our domain being our outputs, our inputs, and that was the same thing as all of our x values. Now, if you check out this graph right here, it's continuous. There is no point in it where it's gapped, okay, wherever the lines are. So we would say that the domain is all input values from -3 to 3, and you could write this, or excuse me, not to 3, but to 2, -3 to 2, and you could actually write this in different ways. You could write as -3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 2. That would be one way to write that, and the reason why it's equal to is because it includes these endpoints here, right? And you can kind of see how it lines up with the graph. It does line up at -3 and 2. Lines up with the x-axis. Okay, another way you could write this is in set notation. This is interval notation here, but set notation is, since it's included, we would have closed brackets. The far left is -3, comma, far right is at 2, and closed brackets because it includes 2. Okay, so that would be the domain. Now, if I did the range, the range, like we talked about in the last video, is all the outputs. So what that means here is that we want to find the bottom boundary and then the top boundary. Okay, so it looks like the bottommost point is here, which is at -1, -3. Oh, excuse me, -2. -1, -2, and the topmost point, if we take our pencil or our Sharpie or dry erase marker in this case, the last point that as I roll this along that's going to hit my marker is this point right here. In which case, this is, we already said it, it's at 2, 2. Okay, so we're at 2, 2 still. So, and now the range is the output values. In the last video, we said the output values was the y values. And you can see that, once again, this is completely closed in on these lines here that connect. And so we would say that our range is from -2 to 2. And we could write that in interval notation, which is -2 is less than or equal to, because it's including, y, which is less than or equal to 2. Okay. The other way is set notation, which would be -2, closed brackets, right, and all the way to 2, and then bracket here. And it's brackets because it includes these points. Okay. We'll see in the next video how it can be open brackets, or in other words, parentheses.